Imagine this. You've prepared, you've stockpiled, yet the unimaginable happens. Your supplies run out. It's a harsh reality, isn't it? No matter how much you've prepared, how many cans you've stored, or how many barrels of water you've collected, there will come a day when supplies run out. And that's the moment when real survival begins. It's not about what you've stored away, it's about what you do when everything is gone. This is the brutal second phase of collapse, the phase that most people aren't ready for. It's a phase that demands not just physical resources, but mental agility and resilience. It's about understanding that stockpiling is only a temporary solution, a bridge to the real survival skills you must have. You see, a collapse isn't a weekend event, it's a long-haul battle for sustainability. Your food, water, and gear are just a bridge to these survival skills. When the cans go empty, when the water barrels dry up, that's when your survival depends not on what you've stored, but on what you can do. We're going to talk about those skills. We're going to talk about food production, about transforming gardening from a hobby to a survival tactic. We'll discuss raising small livestock, even on limited land, and foraging for wild edibles in your region. We'll talk about water, how to find it, purify it, and manage it daily when stored water is no longer an option. We'll go over skills that replace supplies, skills that won't fail when gear does. We'll delve into the new economy that emerges after a collapse, when skills and goods become currency. We'll discuss the importance of community, because going it alone isn't always an option. Above all, we'll talk about mindset, the ability to adapt, improvise, and overcome, because those who can adapt will survive. Those who cling to old systems will not. The question isn't if your supplies will run out, but when. So, what's your game plan? When the last can of beans is gone, what's your plan? The answer is food production. Imagine the scenario. Your pantry is bare. The canned goods you've relied on are now just empty containers. This is where the real test of survival begins, and it all starts with food production. Let's take a step back and consider gardening. No, not the kind you do for pleasure on a sunny Sunday afternoon, but survival gardening. For this, you'll need to focus on fast-producing, high-calorie crops. We're talking potatoes, beans, squash, the kind of crops that can sustain you and your family when the supermarket shelves are bare. But what if you don't have a lot of land? That's where small livestock comes in. Chickens and rabbits can be raised on limited land, providing you with a source of protein that's renewable and self-sustaining. Now let's not forget about foraging. Mother Nature has her own supermarket, and it's full of wild edibles just waiting to be discovered. However, this requires knowledge of your region and what it has to offer. So start learning about the wild edibles in your area now. Food, as we all know, is the lifeline of survival. But producing it isn't just about planting a seed or raising a chicken. It's about understanding the ecosystem you live in, the resources at your disposal, and how to make the most of what you have. This isn't just about survival, it's about sustainability. It's about creating a system that can keep you fed not just for a few weeks, but for months, even years. And that takes planning, knowledge, and most importantly, practice. So the next time you add a can of beans to your stockpile, ask yourself, what's your plan when they run out? How will you feed yourself and your family when the canned goods are gone? If you can answer these questions, then you're on the right path to true survival. Food is life, and knowing how to produce it is the key to survival. Water is the elixir of life, and when your stored water runs out, you'll need to know how to find, purify, and manage it daily. Water is our most essential resource. Without it, we can only survive for a few days. So when the last drop drips from your stockpile, where do you turn? The answer lies in renewable water sources. Rain catchment systems, wells, rivers, lakes, even the morning dew on plants can become your life-saving hydration, but it's not enough to just find water. You must ensure it's safe to drink. This is where purification comes into play. Sure, you might have a top-of-the-line filter now, but what happens when that filter reaches its limit? You have to go back to basics. Boiling water is one of the oldest and most effective methods of purification. It kills most types of pathogens, and it's something you can do over a simple fire. Yet, there's more to purification than just boiling. Solar disinfection, or SODIS, uses the sun's ultraviolet light to kill bacteria and viruses. It's a simple, no-cost method that requires only a clear plastic bottle and sunlight. And then there's sand filtration, a technique that's been used for centuries. By filtering water through different layers of sand and gravel, you can remove large particles and many pathogens. But let's not forget water conservation. In a survival situation, every drop counts. This means being mindful of your usage, reusing water where you can, collecting rainwater, and minimizing waste. And why is this all so important? Because water isn't just for drinking, it's needed for hygiene, for cooking, for growing food, for medical care. It's the lifeblood of your survival. So when your stored water runs out, don't despair. Look to the skies, to the ground, to the world around you. Learn to find water where others see none, to purify it without modern gadgets, to conserve it like the precious resource it is. Water is life, and managing it effectively is a critical survival skill. Gear is great, but what happens when it fails? Skills, that's what. When your lighter's out of gas, your tent's ripped to shreds, and your hunting knife's gone missing, it's your skills that'll pull you through. It's your understanding of the world around you, your ability to use what's at hand, that becomes your ultimate survival kit. First up on the list, fire starting. You need to be able to spark a flame without the convenience of a lighter. There are various techniques to master, from friction-based methods like the hand drill or bow drill, to using a flint and steel, or even a magnifying glass. Fire is your lifeline. It cooks your food, purifies your water, keeps you warm, and wards off predators. It's not just about creating a flame, but sustaining it. Gathering the right kind of fuel, knowing how to stack your firewood, these are all part of the art. Next, there's basic medicine and first aid. When there's no doctor around the corner, you become the medic. It's crucial to know how to treat minor injuries, recognize signs of infection, and understand the basics of hygiene and disease prevention. Your health is your wealth, after all. Building improvised shelters is another key skill. You need to know how to create a safe, warm, dry place to rest using only what nature provides. From lean-tos to snow caves, the type of shelter you build will depend on your environment and the materials available. Then there's cooking with primitive methods. You won't always have a stove or even a pot. Learning to cook directly over a fire or using hot rocks or an underground oven can mean the difference between a raw meal and a roasted feast. Finally, hunting, trapping, and fishing techniques. You need to understand animal behavior, how to track, how to set a snare, how to fish without a rod. It's about becoming a part of the ecosystem, a predator in your own right. Skills are your ultimate survival kit. They won't fail you when you need them most. In a post-collapse world, money is worthless. Bartering becomes the new gold. The paper and coins we once held dear become mere relics of a bygone era. Instead, skills and goods become the new currency, the new lifeblood of a society trying to rebuild. Imagine this, you have a surplus of potatoes from your survival garden, but you need a medical kit. In the new world, you can trade your surplus for the medical kit. That's bartering. It's a simple concept, yet it is vital for survival when traditional economic systems collapse. But what holds value in this new economy? Clean water, food, medical supplies, fuel, clothing, labor, all these become the new money. These are the essentials people will need, and if you can provide them, you'll hold a strong position in the bartering system. However, it's not just about the big stuff. Small, easily traded items become incredibly valuable. Salt, for instance, is a simple yet fundamental commodity. It's used for preserving food, an essential process in a world without refrigerators. Lighters, too, are highly sought after. The ability to start a fire easily can mean the difference between life and death. Even something as simple as a sewing needle becomes a precious commodity. When you can't just pop out to buy new clothes, being able to repair the ones you have is crucial. Yet bartering isn't without its dangers. In a world where everyone is desperate to survive, becoming known as a person with a surplus of valuable goods can make you a target. So, learning how to trade effectively and safely is just as important as having the goods to trade. Remember, in a post-collapse world, your worth isn't determined by the size of your bank account, but by the skills you have and the goods you can trade. Bartering is the new economy. Prepare for it and you'll thrive when others struggle. Lone wolf survival is brutal. The power of together can make the difference between life and death. Surviving alone is an uphill battle. Isolation can be a silent killer, not just emotionally, but practically. We're social animals, hardwired for community. We're designed for togetherness, for cooperation. This is as true in our everyday lives as it is in a post-collapse world. In a survival situation, being part of a community can mean the difference between barely surviving and truly living. Sharing skills and labor, pooling resources and knowledge, these are the things that can turn a desperate fight for survival into a sustainable way of life. Imagine a group where one individual is a skilled gardener, another a proficient hunter, a third an experienced medic. Each person brings a unique skill to the table, and together, they create a synergy that's far more powerful than the sum of its parts. But it's not just about practical skills. A community can provide emotional support in times of hardship, a sense of purpose in the face of adversity. It can keep hope alive when all seems lost. And hope, as we know, can be a powerful survival tool. However, cultivating such a community is not without its challenges. Trust is the cornerstone of any successful group. It's a precious commodity, often hard to come by, and once lost, it's almost impossible to regain. Vetting potential group members, ensuring they're trustworthy and reliable, is of utmost importance. It's a delicate balance, inviting new members into your group while protecting the safety and stability of those already within it. But despite the challenges, the benefits of community in a survival situation are undeniable. A well-knit group can weather storms that would overwhelm the lone survivor. They can pool their resources, share their skills, support each other in times of need. In a world stripped of modern conveniences where survival is a daily struggle, the power of together is more potent than ever. Community is not just a nice-to-have, it's a must-have. It's a lifeline, a beacon of hope in a post-collapse world. In the end, we're stronger together. Community is the key to long-term survival. The ultimate survival tool isn't a knife, a gun, or a can of beans. It's your mindset. The ability to adapt, to think on your feet, to improvise, and to overcome is the most valuable tool you can possess. In a world where plans fall apart and systems crumble, mental flexibility becomes the key to survival. Picture this. Your stockpile is gone, your gear has failed. You're left with only your knowledge and your will to survive. What do? You adapt. You use what you've learned to make the most of what you have and to find what you need. You improvise, using your creativity to solve problems and overcome obstacles. You overcome because your survival depends on it. In the face of adversity, your mindset is your greatest ally. Adapt, improvise, overcome. That's the mindset of a survivor.